Hi, I'm Trish.
And I'm Brandy.
And you're listening to episode 18 of
Connected Conversations. This is your go-to space where international teachers, leaders, and parents like us get together for real talk, real tips, and sharing tools to thrive abroad in the international schools world.
Between us, Brandy and I have been doing this international teaching gig for nearly 40 years across 4 continents, and even more countries, and soon to be many more. And we've been working with many types of professional, social, and foreign communities along the way.
And in our last episode, we talked with Jennifer about what it's like to lose and slowly rebuild your sense of community after life abroad.
And today, we're continuing that conversation with another powerful story, one that shows just how much community shapes every decision we make about where we live, where we work, and where we raise our families.
Amy is an American teacher who relocated to Prague, where she built a career, met her Czech husband, and started a family. But when they moved back to the States, things didn't unfold quite as they planned.
Right. So from balancing career changes to navigating cultural differences and redefining what home looks like, Amy's journey shows that this is what can happen when you realize that community might matter a little bit more than opportunity. Today's episode is part of our Insider Voices series, where we share real stories from international educators, leaders, and parents living abroad and working around the world.
Before moving abroad, Amy taught in multiple U.S. states. When she came to Prague, though, she found a new rhythm, one filled with connection, growth, and a strong sense of belonging within the international community.
Just before maternity leave, Amy stepped into a leadership role, a milestone that shifted her social circles and sense of identity. After a few years of staying at home on Czech maternity leave and raising her 2 young children in Prague, she and her husband moved back to the U.S., hoping for a little bit different stability and opportunity.
But what they found instead was a harder truth, that rebuilding community in the U.S. wasn't as easy as they thought. Culture shock and transitioning back as a multicultural family was harder than they had prepared for.
So their story captures the push and pull that so many families living abroad feel, between staying for security or returning for connection.
In this episode, Amy shares what she's learned about leadership, family, and the quiet power of community.
Are you ready?
Let's get connected. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining us on Connected Conversations. We know that the time difference is a big one for you. So thank you for being with us today. We'll go ahead and get started. Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background and your international story?
Yeah. So I have been a teacher since 2009. Mm-hmm. So that is this my 17th year teaching. So, and then I needed to explore something different.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I needed a change. I needed to get out of Texas. So I decided to move to Chicago because that's where a lot of my family lived. So I wanted to be close to family that I've never lived close to before. So I lived there for a couple years. I worked in the inner city, Chicago. And it was probably the toughest 3 years of my teaching career to date. Like it was just, it was tough.
Mm-hmm.
So after those 3 years, really it was like the spring of that 3rd year, I was like, I can't be a teacher anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like the end, like I went back to school and was getting a second bachelor's degree in speech therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really trying to decide, do I love teaching or do I want to go back to school full time and become millions of dollars in debt kind of thing?
Yeah. Door B.
Right. So I decided, one of my coworkers that I taught with in Chicago had moved to Prague with his wife and they loved it. Like we kept in contact a little bit and I saw all their pictures on Facebook and I was like, you know what? They're living the dream. Maybe I need to do that too.
Love it.
So never heard of Prague, never knew where it was. So you know what? I'm moving there. Why not?
Why not?
It's
on a map, I think. Planes go there.
It is on a map. And then I had to Google it. I had to see where it was because, geography. And I moved and then realized, oh, wait, that's the country where my ancestors are from.
Oh.
So moved there in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved there with a TEFL school. I went I just joined literally the same TEFL school that my friend had gone to, or my old coworker. So I just followed their path.
You did that
I did it all, just like you. I know. I went to the TEFL program and I did that. And, while I was in that, that's where I found my job at Sunny. And I worked there then for 4 years, but until I went on maternity leave. And then I came back for a tiny little stint before coming back here. And now I've been back in the States for a little over 2 years. This is my third year teaching. I'm back teaching here in Texas.
Yeah. And speaking of that teaching role there in Texas, we heard just this week that,
you were awarded something.
Well done, you.
What were you awarded? Tell us.
Yeah, so yesterday, it was just yesterday, actually. I was awarded Teacher of the Year.
Yeah.
So
well done.
There's that.
Well Bravo. Done. Congratulations. You're an amazing educator.
Thank you.
And now we need you back in Prague. So come back over here. So let's do a bit of rewinding there. Well, like when you first moved to Prague back in 2016, what were some of those first months like for you? Like now you're kind of like out of Chicago and deciding, what was it like? How was community in the beginning for you?
Community in the beginning for me was actually fantastic because I had my TEFL school. We had a really large group of students going through the TEFL program. I want to say there was like 20 something of us. I mean, it was a really large group. All of them were way younger than me. Because I was almost 30, I was 29, trying to figure out my career. And everyone else was like 23 and 22, like straight out of college. So it helped me kind of just like chill out and live for a month.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So for the first, and I made like some of my best friends from there. We still are in contact. So I think like we all figured it out together, and it was nice having people going through the same thing as me. But then also like from the TEFL school, within the first, it was a couple weeks, I found the job at Sunny, and I immediately started when the TEFL program was over. I think I had like I think I had a weekend.
Wow.
To recover from the TEFL school to starting at Sunny.
Wow. And planning lesson plans that weekend. That sounds
and
fun.
Planning, right. So it was like, I wasn't able to go to the first couple days of training, like the teacher work days at Sunny. So it was kind of crazy jumping in, but everyone at Sunny was so helpful because they knew, like we all know what each other are going through. And so they kind of help each other out in that way.
I love that because like a lot of the people that we think are watching this are probably looking for a job and some security before they move abroad so that they can have something set. But you're saying the opposite. You took the big risk of the 1 month program and then the next 4 years just happened to you in that first month. So that
just happened.
Exciting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really ultimately only came thinking I'll be there for 1 year.
Wow.
That was me too.
I was just like, I just need 1 year to like teach abroad and like bring myself back to life because ultimately the job that I had in Chicago like sucked everything out of me. And so it was like, I need to
recalibrate,
find myself again in a way.
Yeah.
Love that.
I love that too. When you first came here, we're going to bridge this into a question about how you found your partner. But what was it like finding your community specifically as a single person in those first years? Or how long were you here before you met your partner?
I met him the second week I was there.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait.
So there's
really
time
hard too.
Folks, we cannot promise you love and a job in the first month. Okay. That's her story.
It literally was just like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be because it just fell into place so quickly that it was kind of crazy. It was a little overwhelming, I guess, kind of in a way to say like, I moved there thinking I'm going to take this TEFL program. I'll probably just teach adults how to English. I didn't really do much research, which was not great, but I needed to just jump in kind of thing. It just fell into place. Like I was one of those things. It was funny because my grandpa kept telling me over and over and over, you cannot fall in love with anyone. Like you can't, you promise me you're not going to meet someone there you're not going to fall in love and get married to someone and stay there. And I was like, oh no, never. Like, why would I do that? I mean, like,
he didn't knock on wood.
No.
He still talks to you now, doesn't he? I hope so. Like that.
Well, he did. He passed away the first year I was there.
Oh,
but he did end up meeting my partner, and he met him, and he approved of him, and he joked about it. But
there you go.
That's
definitely
really
we got the seal of approval in the end before he passed.
Yeah,
but
that's good.
No, like when I met him, I was like, no, I'm going to stay away. Like I kept arm's length. I was like, leave me alone.
Grandpa said I have to. Like I can't go out tonight.
Like it was just like, okay, we had one date. It was great. Like I'm just gonna let's back off. And he was not having that.
I love it.
I love that. And how was it for you, growing this circle of friends and your community after meeting your Czech partner that you were going on these dates with? And I'm guessing meeting his friends as well. Was there a big change for you or difference in that?
There was a difference in a way. Like I had already kind of created my circle of friends and he had his. I had met his friends. There was a couple times where we went out. I would say about half of his friends were really good at speaking English and half of them were not. And so there was just that like awkward time of being like, okay, who are the ones that are willing to talk to me and who are the ones that don't feel comfortable talking to me?
Been there.
Because I didn't know Czech at all, you know? So it was just, there was a time, but he mostly had this really large friend group of guys and I had my friend group of girls. So it was just kind of like we occasionally met up, and I know all of his friends, like I've gone to their weddings and all of that. But, there's that language barrier for a lot of them. But because I've been around for now so long, they're more comfortable with trying to speak English with me, or like the people that weren't comfortable talking to me 9 years ago now are comfortable talking to me. So,
I've had to learn through my own experience that like, just because someone isn't comfortable speaking English with me doesn't make them mean or rude or a bad person. Like the longer I've been with my Czech partner, the more I've realized that like, oh, those are really lovely people. Like it really was just a language barrier.
Definitely. You have to realize like, wait, are they just being rude, or is it, oh no, they don't speak English. So and I don't speak Czech, so I can't kind of have that.
Exactly.
I can't hold that against them because neither of us can speak each other's languages.
Right. And I think the other thing, if you identify as the clown in the group or the funny person, that's kind of like, I like to drop the jokes, but my jokes don't land when I try it in Czech. Like I don't have the right ending, or my Czech isn't good enough. And I'm like, you don't know, I'm really funny in English. I make up for it with
laugh at me,
please laugh. Okay. So I love this. So now transitioning to like the community at the school, you said you were able to find the TEFL school community, and as well at your Czech school, Sunny Canadian. How were your Czech colleagues or the colleagues at the school, like were they built in, or how did they help you get settled here in Czech Republic to make it like a long-term community and a home?
I mean, everyone at Sunny was amazing. Like I loved everyone that I worked with. I still think like the first couple years that we were there were some of the best people that I've ever worked with. I mean, Czech and English, so everyone, my Czech, I'm still really close with some of my Czech teachers that I was the co-teachers with. They've moved to different schools, but also we still keep in touch because they are all over the world still. And what I love about international schools is the Czech teachers are also international. And so that we have that same connection in a way.
Yeah.
With traveling and understanding international life.
Love that.
Yeah.
One of my teachers that I taught with that was Czech, she lived in California for a while. So she kind of understood that expat life.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I connected so quickly, and we're still good friends and keep in contact. So I loved both sides because you got to learn both cultures and
love that.
And feel seen too, right? Like as an international person.
Definitely.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know during your time at the Czech bilingual school, you were also promoted into a leadership role, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I just, it's like all of things kind of fell into place. And so did this one. Like I was teaching there. I taught 4th grade. I moved up with my kids for 5th grade because that's how the system works. Like you follow your kids. And then my kids were moving on to middle school. And usually in that, you don't follow them.
Yeah.
So then VP of English was quitting and moving on. And so it kind of just fell in my lap. And then, like Brandy, you were having your baby. And so I know that they were like, hey, Brandy, you can take it. But you're like, no, I can't. I'm having a baby. So it was kind of like one of those things that they were just like, well, you've shown, the school, you care about the school for the past 2 years. Let's give you a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what the principals at the time had done.
And how long were you in that leadership role before you went on to maternity leave?
I was there 2 years.
And did you feel that like your relationship, I mean, you said that you had great relationships with your colleagues. When you moved into this new role, did some of those relationships become a little tense, or did they change in any way?
It did change because the second year that I was teaching there, I was their friend. I was their colleague. We were all teachers together. But then the same teachers were still there, but I moved to being their manager, their leadership. So then it was just a shift change. I had to learn how to be their manager instead of their friend, but also try to stay their friend because they were my community,
Yeah.
So it was a tricky year. Ultimately, a lot of them had been there for 3 years at that point. And, expats move and go. And a lot of them left after that 3rd year. And then my 4th year as the manager, it was all new people and they didn't know me previously. So I was then just their manager.
Okay.
And so that was also a very different way of being a manager because none of them had known me as a teacher.
Right.
I was only their manager that year. So it's like both of my years as a manager were very different.
Imagine.
Did you build any, friend connections with that new group of teachers that had come in, or did it feel quite separate for you?
No, I did. I mean, it was separate, but I still hung out with them because I feel like not in the Czech community, in the international community in the Czech Republic, you have to find your community with any expat, like whoever you can connect with. I'm still really good friends with some of them and they only knew me as their manager. We have Friendsgiving. We have Christmas together if we're still in Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, you still celebrate anything and everything together as a group. And yes, I was their manager. And so I knew to keep my mouth shut a lot of the time. And they knew to keep their mouth shut when I was around. But we were still friends. Like we knew how to separate it. In a way.
Yeah. Complaining about your boss really changes when you're the boss they're complaining about.
When I'm there. Exactly. When I'm also there drinking a pivo with them,
Absolutely. No, I get that. And I mean, that's something we see in a lot of different chat groups out there. Just like people saying, I want to move to the next step in leadership, whether that's from teaching and then to middle leadership or middle leadership to senior leadership. And is it better to move on to a new school and do that? Or is it better to be promoted within? Because I think a lot of people would like to be promoted within because they know the system, but that comes with its own challenge because you should expect you're now going to be privy to some information at the top that you naturally can't share in the trenches anymore.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. So you were there for 4 years, and now we'll pivot to why you left that one. You're talking Czech maternity leave here. So that gave you a long stretch away from work, right? And here for our listeners, if you haven't figured it out yet, Brandy was there first and at this school.
And then me.
And then Amy. And I was her maternity
and then you.
replacement. So it's a small little international world. But in all seriousness, you were away from work in Czech Republic. For those who don't know, you can take the 1, 2, or 3 years, and there's a bit of money from the state that you can divvy out different ways. Did you take the 2-year option, the 3-year option? What was your plan?
My plan was 1 year and get back to work.
Okay.
I never, ever wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I just didn't think I could mentally handle that. I needed the connection with adults. But I don't want to say the Czech Republic forced me to, but it does. I mean, it does.
It does.
But it was nice that it forced me to, because I wouldn't have had, now looking back at it, I would have missed the best years of my kid's life, So
don't you two rub it in, because I gave mine. I was in America and I had 3 weeks and went back. It's just insane. I went back to teaching after 3 weeks. It's just insane. Yeah. So
I mean, just thinking about if we had a third kid here, I don't know how long I would be able to stay with them and do that. So it was nice. It was different because I was I'll be out 1 school year. I will be back, because my son was born right before the school year started. So really, I was like, Trish, I'll be out for 1 year. You just need to cover me for 1 school year and I'll be back.
I remember.
Because we took the shortest amount of time. So the shortest amount of time, I think, so you get the I think it's 6 months of maternity leave. And then you can do 10 months, I think, is the shortest amount of time you can take for the paternity leave. Parental leave. There we go. So we took the shortest amount of time with the money. But then, surprise, in the spring, I got pregnant again. And it kind of then lined up with my money from my son was ending, but then my money for my daughter was starting. So I really didn't have an overlap or a break in the money from the government. And then again, we took the shortest amount of time for that one. And then I did end up going back as a teacher from April to June, from the beginning of April of 2023. And then I finished the school year, but just as a second grade teacher, I was there.
Right.
I'd like to personally thank you publicly for leaving me in the year 2020 at the school. I loved the school, but that was COVID. That was a challenging year to be in the vice principal role. But it it gets back to the school was such a great community too. So you had built something so great, and we really did survive in the trenches with a lot of love, we took care of each other. Yeah. But it was hard.
Because I was there in the spring of COVID. And so we were all figuring it out together, and being their manager and them coming to me with all these questions. I'm like, I don't know.
Can you come to school tomorrow? I don't know.
I don't know. Here's option A and here's option B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And we probably did option Z. you never really know. And so they were like, well, how do I do this? And I'm like, try your best. I don't know. Like we're all doing it. Cause I was also teaching, like, even though I was the manager, I still had classes to teach.
Yeah.
So it was crazy.
It was a super crazy time.
It was
sure.
And those conversations just that you mentioned were all happening between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. of the school day that we needed to solve the problems for. That was the crazy part,
For sure.
But it was a time.
Yeah.
Oh, the trauma. Here we go. On to the next question, Brandon.
Let's move away from the trauma and move back to
community.
Yes.
Community.
Amy, when you were on maternity leave, so that altogether would have been almost 2 years, right? Like a year and a half? No, 2 years.
It was 2 years, almost 3.
2.5 years. Yeah.
April. So 2.5 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did anything shift for you in terms of being a mom? And this is a 2-part question. Like continuing to strengthen the friendships that you had already in Prague and possibly finding new friendships or a new social circle as a mom in Prague. How was that for you?
Yeah. I mean, it changed completely. I didn't have the people that I was friends with didn't have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them didn't even have partners. So they were going out, living their life, you know,
Sleeping.
having fun. And I was at home with a baby, you know, like how do you then keep those connections? I mean, we all did the best that we could, obviously, but it's like, you know, I have a baby and you are a single person living your life. Like, how awkward is that if we try to meet up for something, you know? But we did our best. But I then found a different community.
Nice.
Like Brandy and I feel like you and I got closer because you already had a kid. And I mean, we were already close in general, but I feel like we got closer because I had a kid. And then I found another friend that I hadn't been friends with before. And I had, you know, the funny thing is I had met Amy before I was even pregnant. Either of us had a baby. Kate had connected us because she was like, you two are the same person. Like, here, I have this Amy friend and I have this Amy friend, and you guys work at 2 different schools doing the exact same thing in the international world.
So funny.
Let me try to connect you two. So we had met up one time for drinks and then said, we'll keep in touch. And then I was pregnant. And then a few months later, she was pregnant and she reached out. And then we went through pregnancy in the Czech Republic together and just did it all. We walked through it all together.
That's sweet.
So we connected in a different way that way. But then, you know, we had to find other moms because it was just her and I for a long time on maternity leave. And we were like, let's make more friends.
Did you do that like through online, or were there any certain groups or apps that helped you like connect with people? How did you do that?
There was a good, like our old coworker, Chantel, had created this really good workout community for expat moms.
Okay.
She had just started it. I don't want to mess up the year, but it was before Daniel was born, I think. Or no, it was before. Yes, it was before Daniel was born. So it was sometime in 2020 or 2021. She started this workout community of expat moms because she was like, we all need connection.
Yep.
And there's not many like Mama and Me classes for English speakers.
Right.
That was one of the biggest things that I was upset with. I mean, not upset, but like, you know, here in the US, like you can go to the library, Mama and Me library time in English, or you can go to the little gym, which I did find there is the little gym in the Czech Republic, but like you can do but they don't speak English, you know, like you can do these things and you can find all these other moms on maternity leave, but in the Czech Republic speaking English, it's one of the hardest things.
Yep.
So then I joined this workout community with other moms who spoke English. And so I kind of met some moms that way. And
love that.
You know, you just had to go anywhere and everywhere to find English speaking moms.
Yeah. Can I say, just piggybacking off of your experience there, like I remember trying to join some like baby and Mama and Me like classes, but it was a lot of them were like groups of Czech women who had maybe they had a international partner, but they wanted their babies exposed to English. And so I still felt like this very, very much an outsider because they would start talking in Czech after the group. And I was going to like look for community and I didn't get it even in those spots where you kind of should get it, you know? So I understood.
Yep.
So did you?
I tried to find it everywhere and it was tough. I mean, it was tough, but
yeah. I think they're growing every year. And the more that we get on Insta and the more that, you know, the Facebook groups and the, you know, like we all get more savvy with all the different apps that are out there. We're seeing the accessibility or just the awareness of those groups now. Like how lucky is today's generation to be connected in that way, you know, the things we sought for and cried about in the kitchen, like we couldn't find, but yeah, definitely.
Right.
So did you notice a big difference? Because I know then you moved back to the States. Did you notice a big difference about the way that parenting and finding a mom community here and then parenting and mom communities back in the States were? Did you notice?
To be completely honest, I feel like it's equally as hard.
Okay.
People have their own groups here already because my kids are, how old are they now? 3 and 5. When we moved here, it was 1.5 and 3, but it was still hard to find a community here because we moved to a city where we didn't really know it. We didn't know anyone ultimately. Like I had one best friend that she lived here. And then my mom moved here at the same time we moved here. So we had to build a whole new community.
Yep.
Yeah.
We knew no one. So it was tough.
So I just can't even imagine this big of a move. Like I moved to Prague as a single person and then made my family here, but you came to Czech, now you have this beautiful family of 4, right? Like the 4 of you, and you moved back to the States. What were your biggest hopes and expectations for this next chapter of your life as a family?
I think one of our biggest things was we came here just wanting to get that other side of things, like see what it was like to raise a family here versus raise a family in the Czech Republic. Because my husband had only known what it was like in the Czech Republic. So it was kind of like, let's adventure and see what it's like here. Obviously, I had only known living in the US as a single person. So it was kind of an adventure for both of us at the same time. Like, how do we navigate being parents together in the US? And then my husband is also trying to figure out how to be an expat in the US.
Right. Yep.
So it was, our first year was really tough. Brandy, you got all the voice messages being like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was really tough, but we're finding our way. We're finding our groups.
Yep.
Our kids have friends now. And so now we've in turn, then we have found friends that way through their parents. Because I feel like that's how it works as parents. Like you're now friends with your kids, parents.
There's definitely that stage of life, It does end if you want it to when they graduate high school. So just know.
Okay.
So don't, there's that end side if you wanted to. But
we have found some amazing people that we are friends with now. So it's nice. It just takes time. I mean, it takes time as a single expat person in a foreign country, but then it also takes time to find that same community here.
So true. And so without sharing too many details and getting into too personal with his story, but was there anything particularly with your Czech husband? We're always talking about us being the expats out abroad, but then being an expat in America. Was there anything particular that stood out in his story that was maybe different than yours being over here?
I think just for him, everything was hard. It was just different. We're living in a suburb of Dallas. Nobody's out walking. I mean, nobody is out walking around.
So true.
So like nobody, but also the unfortunate thing is we moved in July. Oof. And it was the hottest July they've had it was the hottest summer they've had in a long time.
Oh my gosh.
And it was miserable. Yeah. Let me tell you. Yeah. And we only had one car and I had to take it to work.
Didn't your air conditioning also break in your house too?
Yes. We had our rental. It broke the first 2 weeks of living. I mean, it was just like hey, we're going to throw you into the deep end, but it's not just the deep end, it's the ocean.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, figure out how to swim and make it. And I mean, we did it. We're on the other side. Yeah. But it was tough. And, for both of us, but also him, like, it's like, where do we find people? There's no one out here. Nobody's walking around. Like we go from the hustle and bustle of big city. You walk out your door and you're around a million people, but here we walk out our door and you can like look both ways and see no one.
A tumbleweed goes down the street.
I know for us when we're abroad, it's just like, I just want to hear English sometimes, you get in that mode.
Yeah.
Has that poor man been able to hear any Czech in the time that he's been there or just from the children?
We have found a Czech community. There's a Sokol here.
Okay.
And so we have tried to, he's reaching out to any and every Czech that he finds on Instagram, ultimately. And he has found some friends that way. That's what the funny thing is at our local grocery store that we go to, there's this lady that she's a cashier. And I swear to you, for the first several months, I was like, this lady is Czech. I know it. The way that she checks out, she's fast and she's got the accent. And I'm like, do I have the right accent? But I know she's from Europe, but I swear she's Czech. And so finally, one day I don't know if she was speaking Czech to somebody or something, but my husband was like, she is Czech. And so now we talk to her all the time.
Love it.
And she's like our friend at the grocery store. And, we speak Czech to her every time we check out and we've connected with her. And so it's funny that there are more Czechs around or even Slovaks. Like there's some Slovaks around that they have some kids that we've hung out with a couple times, but we have heard it and found some local friends.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, kind of connecting with this, like you said, there's people all around in Czech Republic and Prague and the city. And we very much have like this cafe culture here, right? You get to meet up with a friend and have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever. What would you say your daily life is like in Texas? Does it relate to that in any way, or is it very, very different for you?
No. No. Everyone's schedules here are like jam-packed with kids sports or kids, just things. It's like, okay. And now mine is like that. I feel like it's like I leave school and I have XYZ to do and you have to run your errands and you have gymnastics after school and you have soccer practice and all of these things. And everyone has that. So it's like you have to plan ahead by, and pencil each other into schedules and try to say, okay, can we do happy hour next Friday or whatever?
Yeah.
But everyone, it's the hustle and bustle here.
Yeah.
You're on a schedule and but I think that's also the season of life that I'm in with my kids.
Oh, I love that.
That's so true. Like, because now now that my son is off and, abroad on his own journey and graduated, like I'm now in a quiet season for the most part, unless I pencil in, Brandy's like, okay, when can we schedule? And I'm like,
when can we
opening an empty calendar. And she's like, I've got time next month. We're doing it.
Right.
Oh, that's true.
I love it.
It's hard. I feel like, we all go through different seasons of life. And right now we're in the season of kids and younger kids. And we have to keep them busy and we have to teach them different communities and get them into their own circles.
Yeah.
But we have to then try to keep ours alive.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, that is so perfect as we transition to the last few minutes here. Like, so how has this overall journey of being an expat, like one way and the opposite way, you know, finding your prince abroad, all that, like, how has it changed what community means to you?
You know, it's like you thought growing up as a kid, you were going to have the same friends forever and you were going to be friends forever. But then, I mean, we're still friends. But there's different, you know, like I just said, there's different seasons of life. So you find different circles for that time in your life. And I have, you know, the circle of friends that I had when I started teaching. And then I have my circle of friends that I have in Chicago. And then I have my circle of friends in Prague, in different scenes in Prague. And then, you know, now we're here, and I have taught at 2 different schools the past 2 years. And I have, you know, I had to find community in one school, and now I've had to find community in another school. And it's just finding friends as an adult is hard. It's really hard because you have to, I mean, I'm not the most outgoing person there is. I'm not, like, I'm more of an
introvert.
Like, let's hang out in my house.
Yeah.
Like, let's just chat in my house. I mean, like, me and Brandy, like, it's just like, hey, let's just hang out at our house.
Eat tater tots and ranch dressing. That's our jam.
With our tater tots, we would always get tater tots because, you know, that's the only place in Prague that has tater tots.
Where is this place?
There's one place. I mean, actually, they have a lot of branches.
Talk to me after this show. I do not know this place.
No, we'll have to give it to you. But there's one place, and it was right where I lived. So every time Brandy came over, we got pizza and tater tots.
Nice. Best. Nice.
And lived our American life.
There you go. Best life.
But, you know, it's just being an adult is having to put yourself out there in the most uncomfortable situations.
So true.
To find that community. But then it always pays off in the end. I mean, it's hard, but you have to do it.
So, Amy, as we're coming to a close, we always like to end our episodes on an advice question. So if you could share a piece of advice to someone who is trying to find or maybe trying to rebuild their community abroad, what piece of advice would you share?
I think is just like, put yourself in those uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
It's hard. But I mean, I found the best people. Yeah. And it just put yourself out there, say yes to everything. Like, I read that book from, who's the director of Grey's Anatomy? It's so funny.
Oh, Shonda Rhimes.
Shonda Rhimes.
Shonda Rhimes.
Yes. So she wrote a book. Have you read her book? I think it was like The Year of Yes or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the best book ever. And she just started saying yes to everything, and more things opened up for her. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. So it's like, just say yes to more things that make you feel uncomfortable, and put yourself in those, just go out there and do, like, meet more people. Yeah. But it pays out. It's tough.
Yeah.
But you'll find your people, and you'll find where you're supposed to be.
Oh, what a great way to bring this all back, you know? So thank you so much, Amy, for waking up so early.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With us, but it's been great hearing from you. And for being part of the Connected Global family. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy. Amy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Your honesty about the highs and lows of finding community abroad will resonate with so many people.
For our listeners, we hope Amy's journey reminds you that community can be found, maybe lost, and then maybe found again in places that you might not expect.
Right. And if you're in the middle of that process yourself, whether you're moving abroad, returning home, or just trying to find your people where you are, visit our platform at connectedglobal.org for resources and for lots of other stories to help you feel a little less alone.
And remember, at our website, connectedglobal.org, you can also book a consultation with us, your connected friends, whether you want to talk through your next international move, compare your school options, or explore ways to make your transition feel a little smoother. We'd love to help you navigate that all with confidence and connection.
And if this episode resonated with you, share it with another educator, parent, or friend who might need just a little reminder that belonging can be found anywhere. Sometimes it just takes time.
Yep. So until next time, may your friendship groups bring you joy.
Your connections with others be authentic.
And your journeys be heartwarming
and international.
Are you ready?
Let's
it's time to get in it.
So we're going to say goodbye, but not really say goodbye.
Don't hang up. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Amy, that was so good.
It was really great.
It was really good. So much good advice. Like,
3, 2, 1.
She's it. I love it.
Cute.
We're going to do something
Perfect.
there.